good to see everyone. Yeah, welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our second class for academic preparedness. Okay, it's good to see everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And let's see what we're going to do tonight. Okay, so this is our second class for academic preparedness. We're going to go over a couple different things. Hi, and welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome, and welcome back if you were here last week. So tonight we're going to do a little bit of a getting to know your partner. Again, you're going to get a chance to say hello to them at the beginning. And then we're just going to go over some key points about this class. So remember that our first focus is reading, and then we're going to talk a little bit about listening. So I just want to go over some of those key points. And then you're going to have the chance to practice with your partner and just go over some of the key points that we talked about last week. So you will work on a handout, a document with your partner, and just answer some questions that we talked about last week, just to make sure you're clear. And then we're going to move on to Cornell note taking, which we started last week. So we just had a little introduction to it last week. And then we are going to have the chance to practice more with it tonight. And hopefully in this 90 minutes, we'll also get the chance to work on writing a summary. So this is my ambitious plan for the next 90 minutes. So let's see what we can do tonight. All right, so we're going to start off with a chance to say hi to your partner. And today's question is, what's your favorite season? Since we're all talking about weather to get started tonight. And what do you like to do during your favorite season? Okay, just think about that for a moment. I'm going to come back to you, and you're going to have a chance to go off with your partner, say hi to them, and just talk to them a little bit about what your favorite season is. Okay, is everybody okay with that question? Everybody have an answer? Yeah? All right. All right, so here we go. Good luck. There we go.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Okay. Hi.
Who wants to start?
I can start. Elder, you want to start?
You can.
Okay. So it depends where I am. I do like Brazilian winter.
What is your favorite season?
All right. I think I don't have a favorite season. All of the seasons there's some cool points for me. Like summer, we can enjoy swimming.
What is your favorite season?
My favorite season is the summer.
Why?
Because I love to go to the beach, and it's more interesting to go in the summer. And I think it's a more happy season. I don't like too much the winter, for example, because it's a little sad, and
Here in Brasilia, during the summer, rains a lot. So, where you live?
I live in Marília, São Paulo. It's a city about 6 hours from the capital. And here is not too hot. It is medium, you know. So
don't can traffic.
It's the same here. One time I lost my car because in the rain. We are talking, teacher, that we live in the northeast of Brazil. She lives in Fortaleza and I close to Recife. And our favorite season is the beginning of the winter because the temperature is colder and didn't rain because normally our winter season here is rain too much and it's terrible.
Oh gosh.
Yes. But the beginner is perfect.
Okay. And what do you like to do during the beginning of winter? What do you like to do?
Especially eat food that is heavier. For me, it's the best part of it.
I like this. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. I don't go ever anything
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
When it's cold. Yeah.
If I can stay in home, I will stay.
Yeah, as a parent to enjoy stay at home because and feel secure.
These are really good reasons. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And more here in Brazil, actuality here it's the thunder. Sometimes the people died because the thunder.
Okay.
It's very, because after I go to the beach, I live near the beach, and I go to the beach. It was rain. I go to the beach. I love go to the beach. It's rain, but now I don't know. I don't go because it's thunder.
Yeah.
I can die.
Yeah. It's very dangerous, sounds like.
Yes. It's very danger now here because this. In Recife, it's same, Sheila.
We have also, but I think in Fortaleza is worse.
Hi. Hi, Pete.
Hi.
Someday I will live there. Someday I will live there. Next to the beach.
We like summer because
we prefer summer. because here where I live, it's winter and very dry. It doesn't rain.
Yeah. Hello. How is it? Okay. Yeah.
Fun.
That's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. All right, everyone. So how did you do? Interesting discussion with your partner? Yeah. Yeah. Different opinions about what season is the best season, I think. Yeah. Right. We all have different reasons for what we like, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyone like to share? Sorry. That's my phone. Sorry. Would anyone like to share?
André just joke about my city, that is Curitiba, because he have been here before, and it's like the 4 seasons in the same day. Okay. So we're just joking about that, and so we have this experience of the whole things during the whole day.
Interesting, interesting. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Anybody else want to say?
From Pernambuco, and she used to live in São Paulo, and she missed this season thing, because here you can identify the seasons, but in Pernambuco are pretty much the same.
Right, right. Yeah. So depends on what you like, right? And maybe where you're living has all the seasons in one day or all the seasons in one year, right? So, right. It depends on really what you like. Here in Baltimore, we get 4 seasons in the year, which I like. But summer.
In Fortaleza, we have 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Hot and the rain.
Okay.
Just
okay. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go back to a little bit of our content, and then you're going to have an opportunity again to work with your partner. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to go back to our PowerPoint. And so this is just a little review from last week. If you weren't here last week, these are just some key points that I want to point out about this class. So like I said, we're working on improving our reading skills and our listening skills. And we're just learning about some basic approaches for both of those. And then we're looking at how to understand academic readings and lectures, and looking at some skills for note-taking and summarizing for both, okay? So last week we started to learn about the Cornell note-taking method, and we're gonna try to apply that also when we learn about listening in English, okay? So we're gonna do 3 classes. This is our second class on reading, and then we'll spend 2 other classes on listening, all right? And it's an interactive class, as you can see right from the start, right? And please ask questions when you don't understand. And most importantly, try your best. And most importantly, have fun. Okay, so last week we talked a little bit about what is academic reading. And what we're going to do next is have you work with a partner to just go over some of the key points that I talked about last week. You're welcome to look at your notes, or if you just want to talk to your partner and look at some different questions from last week, just to kind of get a review and go over some of the notes that we took last week, okay? So what you're going to do is work on this handout. I think it's this one. Yeah, so you're going to answer these questions. So what does it mean to be an active reader? So you can think about it for yourself. You can think about some suggestions that I made last week, okay? How are academic texts written in English? So just think about how they're organized, if you can remember, or think about what you know already about academic texts. Think about where can you find the important information in academic text. These are just important reminders, because as we focus on reading, we want to be smarter readers. We want to be more effective readers, okay? And then we did a little bit of practice with skimming last week, and we also did scanning, okay? So just think about what information in general do you look for when you skim, and what information do you look for when you scan? And then 2 more questions are, what important points should you include in your notes? Because we talked a little bit about it in general, and then we went to a very specific method. And then how can you analyze your notes? And what I mean by that is, how can you use the information in your notes to get more information or to see what other questions you have, okay? So what you're gonna do is go through those 7 questions with your partner. You're welcome to type on this document if you wanna write it down. You're welcome to write it in your notebook. You're also just welcome to talk to your partner and discuss these questions, okay? There is another activity on the next page, but we're gonna come back and just check our answers first before we go on to the second page, okay? So I'm gonna put this document in the chat and I'll come back to you 1 second. Here we go. So I'm gonna put this in the chat for you. Yes, sure. I'm gonna send it to you right now. And if you just want to think through your answers, I think it's this one. No. Sorry. I don't often remember what name I give these documents. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. So then I can't find it. Okay, here we go. I think it's this one. No, this one. Okay, here we go. Finally, I found it. Okay, so please save this document on your computer. If you need help with that, please let me know. But what you're gonna do is just go through those 7 or 8 questions on the front side. And like I said, you're welcome to just talk it out or type on the document if you want to. These answers are for you. And the next activity is for you, okay? So we're just gonna talk through it once you come back. But if you wanna write down your answers, you can. Okay, so here we go, good luck. Andrea, did you get a link on your screen to get to the breakout room? Hang on, I can't hear you. Did you get a link now?
Hi.
Hi, Hinata. How are you?
I'm late.
That's okay. Hi.
I was doctor appointment.
Appointment. Okay. No problem. Okay, 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right, so Hinata, the students are working on this document, okay? And I'm gonna put it in the chat for you, okay? And then you can save the document and then I will send you to a group, okay? Okay, all right. So I'm gonna put you in a group. Here we go. Bye.
So I'm a little bit confused because I thought that active reader was when you read a lot. So, but it's not the same that you told me. I'm looking for the.
Yeah, but I think it's not wrong to be someone that reads a lot. It's also an active reader, because like if you keep reading, you know how to read more and better and more. So, but the be an active reader is when MB said about to be a driver on your reading. You really follow all the sentence, all the preposition that the reading is giving.
About the drive,
that you understand. Doing like a summary, for example, hi.
Andy.
Hi.
I think it is that for the first one.
Mirella was teaching me what you teach on the last class. She's giving
I took some notes that helped a lot.
Yeah, awesome.
She made a very complete explanation about what means to be an active reader.
Okay, awesome.
I have to know. And I think you can go to the second question.
How are the academic tests reading in English?
Yeah, I remember that it is like a linear format, and it is very well structured. Introduction, methodology, results, discussion, and
this is a little bit difficult, but I think academic tests follow a kind of script. They have the beginning, abstract and introduction, and the body of the text, and then the conclusion. So I think all the academics, they have this kind of script. So
yes,
Title, keywords too.
Keywords.
Yeah.
Keywords.
Words that repeat a lot. The main information of the text, they repeat all the time during the text.
They have also methods and materials, which it's basic in academic research. What else?
About the English text. And we are doing a review from this class and answer this question here to remember what we learned with MB last week.
Yes, so we didn't read a text right now to answer those questions. We are just reviewing the last class. So you can join us and help us, because you know how to speak in English. I understood you while we were talking.
Yes.
It's introduction, sometimes methodology, and the conclusion. And you can find it all sometimes.
Yes.
What information do you look for when you scan? Are you understanding scan?
Yes, I believe it's when you are looking for something particular, usually a word or a keyword. Not, or it's the contrary, it's the scan. Yes, I always interchange.
Because skin
yes,
is the skin, but don't hear.
Oh, because so skin. Sorry to interrupt. So teacher, skin is when you look out the test to know what's the main idea. Yeah, main idea is about, yes.
And scan, think about like when you go to get an x-ray or they scan your body, they're looking for something particular, right? One point, right? So you're looking for, remember we did 6 keywords and you had to scan quickly and find the word. We did that last.
Control F. Is a Control F in your brain?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. And so like Andrea's saying, skin is it's kind of like skim because you're going to look at the whole picture. Think about it. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Oh, that's a good idea too.
yeah. To think about the whole thing. The whole
So first you look for a new skin.
yeah.
So,
One point. Yeah.
so that's nice. Thank you, me.
You're welcome.
So,
Your
what?
We think about number 4.
Okay.
What information do you look when you skim?
Do you remember we practiced last week?
So.
Yeah. That's okay. So remember, I gave you 3 minutes and you had to read the first sentence and the last sentence.
Last sentence.
Paragraph.
Okay.
So you were trying to find the main idea. Yeah. When you skim, you try to find the main idea.
I understand.
Remember? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And then when you scan, it's the opposite. When you scan, you look for one small piece of information. You just quickly try to find it. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to another group, but keep going. I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
The lecture.
Yes. And B,
yeah.
I was confused about skim and scan. What the important things I should look for. Can you explain again, please?
Sure. So skim, remember, you're going to look for the main idea.
Okay.
And so last week we practiced very quickly. I only gave you like 3 minutes, but you read the first sentence and the last sentence of each of the 4 paragraphs, remember? And then you tried to make get an idea of what the main idea is, all right?
Okay.
So think of skim like your skin, okay? Think of it like you want to see the whole picture, right?
Okay.
And then scan, you're going to try to find just a couple, or you're looking for one word or one section or something like that. So you're trying to find that information quickly, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
I was telling them that, do you know the app Evernote?
Evernote, I just downloaded it, but I don't know how to use it.
Yes. It's okay. I don't think it's but it's a good one. And they have
I think we lost you.
Yeah, we lost her before.
Okay. Have you guys tried Evernote before?
Not.
No.
No. It's a way to be able to take notes on a document, like as if you were taking notes in your notebook, but you can actually take notes on the screen. But I don't know how to use it very well. I just downloaded it, but I haven't tried it. Yeah. How are you doing with the other questions? You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finish.
You finished. Okay. I'm just going to check on the other groups and we'll probably come back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Okay. I'll see you soon. Bye.
And try to find the main point. Okay.
MB, I think I explained it to Mirella the difference between skimming and scanning.
Okay.
Skimming, just take a look quickly and find the keywords. Scanning, take a look of the information that you gathered during the skimming and read the first and the last paragraphs and try to read some parts to see if what you're looking for exactly it is what you're looking for. Is that right?
You're close. I think it's the opposite. Just but tell me. So skimming, I would say you're trying to find the overall main idea. Is that what you meant?
Overall main idea and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then you got it right.
Yeah, but I thought that is like look at the article and see if there's something that gonna works for you. Is that right?
Right. So yes, you can use it in that way, definitely. So you can, like we talked about in academic English class, yes, you can use it like that. But it has parts of what you said for scanning. So skimming is like reading the first sentence and the last sentence of a paragraph, or the first sentence or the first section or the last section, the first paragraph, sorry, or the last paragraph of a section, and seeing if you can get the main idea to then decide if you're going to use it or not. Yes. Scanning is like picking up, you're looking for a specific part, a specific piece of information. So last week, Aguinaldo, we practiced with a reading and I gave them 3 minutes to read the first and last sentence. It was a intermediate level reading and they read the first and last sentence of 4 paragraphs, and then they had to tell their partner what it was about, what was the main idea. They were skimming. And then I gave them 6 words to find in the text. And so they were just scanning specifically for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So sorry if I didn't get exactly what.
You don't need to apologize. No problem. I think when we did it in the other class, yes, I think you're exactly right. You're just trying to skim and you're going to try to decide if this is a useful article for you or not. You're exactly right. Yeah. But if you're looking for the main idea, and we're going to do it again today, you're going to look for the main idea of a text, you're going to read first and last sentence just to practice trying to get what the article is about so you can have an overall understanding. Okay? You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are you doing with the other questions? You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other questions were okay.
Okay.
And Mirella took notes perfectly. So she like
she's a good teacher for you.
Yeah, she did a detailed explanation about, for example, how to find information on the text. She gave like she practically read
I gave the 5 points that you told.
Good job. Good job.
I was practicing to take notes in the class of how to take notes.
Which is perfect. Good way to practice it, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna come back to the main group. I'll see you in a moment.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye. You all right? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Inara, I haven't tried Evernote. I just downloaded it, so I don't really understand it yet. So if you learn about it, you can tell me, okay?
I don't know if I understand, because I was telling Cecilia and Elder, I used to have an Apple book, a MacBook, and it was the best thing of my life, and I love it, and we were perfect together. And on March, he just said, okay, I don't want to function anymore, and it was like $1,000 to get fixed. And I don't have this money because a new one is like this, and okay, it's a crazy thing. So I'm not writing on the computer just just at TOEFL Bank or working. And to study, I'm using the paper again. But when I had the Apple, I used to the Evernote, because it was better to write, and I'm not used at the Windows type.
Okay. So thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
it was better.
Yeah. We were just talking about having Evernote. It's an app, and you can actually write as you're reading. You can write on your screen and take notes. You can download it. I haven't played around with it. I recently downloaded it, but it might be something to think about as you're practicing more academic reading and practicing taking notes. Yeah. Okay. All right. So how did you do with your partners?
Did you send the document? I don't see it. I don't have it.
Did I send a new document right now, Luis?
I don't have the document.
No, I didn't send something new.
Okay.
Inara was just talking about an app that you can get that helps you to take notes on your computer, but I didn't send anything. Yeah. Okay. All right. So thinking about how you did with your partners, were there any questions that you had trouble with, or you got a little confused about, or were you okay?
It just make me a little bit confused because the difference between skimming and scanning, but you help us.
Yeah. So just think of skimming, think of almost like your skin, okay? And you're going to try to see the whole picture when you skim, okay, with an M. And scanning, you're going to look for something really specific and try to find that quickly. Both of these skills are really useful when you're trying to decide if you're going to use an academic resource or not, okay? So remember that while we're trying all these different reading techniques, our main goal is to be a better reader, to be a smarter reader, okay? That means in how we take in the information and what information we take in, okay? So if you had a really specific question you needed to answer, and you start to skim something and you think like, wait a minute, this is not about my topic, then you would decide not to read it, and you'd go to the next source that would be about your topic, or find the next source that would be about your topic, okay? So it's a really good point to just use all of these techniques to practice and to decide when you're doing your own academic research, to decide if they're going to help, whatever resource is going to help you or not, okay? Everybody okay? Yeah. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, I just wanted to point out some key points from last week. A lot of you took some really good notes. So when I was in your group, you were like, no, MB said this. I was like, yay! you were taking good notes, or you were looking at your notes from last week. So I just want to point out a couple different points. And then what we're going to do is actually practice using Cornell Notes tonight, okay? So we kind of started that last week, but I want to actually give you time to do that tonight. Okay, so we're going to go back to our PowerPoint and let's just see what else we're going to. So a lot of you answered this question really well. I would say academic reading and active reading, they're kind of go hand in hand, but academic reading, the focus of the beginning of this class is really just learning strategies for reading that require you to be actively engaged. If you come to some of my other classes, I say the same thing, but the most important thing when you're reading is that you're paying attention, that you have a purpose, and you're trying to find the information that you need. If you're in a graduate program next year or in the next couple years, you will be asked to read a lot, as you already know, right? And you want to be a smarter reader so that you can do that effectively and you can get the information that you need very quickly, okay? So why is academic reading beneficial? I didn't ask you this question, but it encourages you to be a critical reader. This is just a review. It aids you in determining whether a source is credible or not. Is it useful for you or not? Okay. And it helps you to understand your topic and develop arguments or your point of view on an academic topic. Okay. Most importantly, with academic reading is it's going to save you time. All right. So all of these skills, like I said, are just helping you to be a better reader and a smarter reader. Okay. And some of the key points to remember is that academic reading involves these questions. It involves you to ask questions. It involves you to find relationships among parts of the text. This is something that you do when you write a summary. It involves interpreting meaning, okay, and making connections with other readings. All of these things will help you when you're doing specific research, when you're trying to find information on a topic, and it will help you be a better reader. And it also helps you to refine your topic and your purpose. So maybe when you first start out your research, your question is really big, right? But you're going to keep boiling it down. You're going to keep getting to the main point. And by doing all of these different academic reading techniques, you're able to find that information and be a better reader and find the information more quickly, okay? And all of this is on a handout for the end of class. So if you miss some of the notes, don't worry, okay? And so remember, I talked about being the driver, all right? So think about reading as going down the road. And if you're in the passenger seat, maybe you don't have to pay attention where you have to turn, or maybe you don't have to pay attention to the signals coming up, right? But if you are the driver, you are actively engaged in what's happening. You are paying attention to what signals are coming up in the road. You're paying attention to where you need to go next. This is what I want you to think about when you think about academic reading. If you can do this, it will make you a better reader, all right? And think about in English texts, we're very linear. So if you can quickly find the information, it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of stress, right? So if you're able to organize this and use this skill, it will save you, okay? It will really help you. So we also talked a little bit last week about some necessary tools for academic reading. And I'll just go through these really quickly. So we talked about being an active reader. That was your first question tonight. So some of you said being an active reader means reading a lot. That is very true. That is very true, okay? But it also means that you are involved in the text. It means that you have questions to answer before you start reading, that while you're reading, you're asking yourself some questions. And when you finish reading, you're saying to yourself, what did I just learn? Okay. So yes, it means that you're reading a lot. Yes, yes, yes. The more you read, the better you will be at reading, of course. But this involves you to be more engaged, okay? And have more of a purpose. Think about, like, you want to be the driver. So you want to be in the driver's seat. You want to be leading how you're reading. We also talked about how academic texts are organized. And a lot of you did a really good job of saying some really key points about that, okay? So you need to know where to find the information. This is only gonna help you. It's just like having a map given to you. You need to know where you're going, all right? And if you're in an academic program here in the States, your teachers are going to expect you to know this. So you need to pay attention and you need to build these skills now, okay? Another thing is to know how to skim and scan effectively. So think of skim, you're looking for the big picture, right? The main ideas. And scan, you're looking for some specific information, just like we practiced last week, okay? And you should be able to take good notes. What do you think we mean by taking good notes? How would you answer that question? What are good notes?
I think it's getting the core information from the class or from the article.
Good job. Good job.
It's notes that if someone else gets your paper, it can say, oh, it's about this thing and has these questions and.
Good job.
You can get them an idea.
Yeah, good job. Good job. Anybody else want to say? I would say good notes are really useful. Okay, they're useful. If I had to sum it up in one word, it would be useful. That means that I can look at my notes and I can quickly find the information that I need. Just like when you're reading, you want to be able to find the information that you need fairly easily. But when you take your notes, you want them to be organized and you want to be able to use them again so that you don't have to reread an article or re-look at an article to find all this information, okay? So I would suggest like you try to be really organized and really have a system for your notes, because once you write them, then you can use them again. And that's the most important point, I think. Okay, so trying to make sure that your notes are really useful and well organized is what I would suggest for taking good notes. Okay.
And B,
yeah,
may I ask something?
Sure.
One thing that Solange and I, we were seeing that we use lots of these marks. So do you suggest us to use it, or we should always write again because of the process of learning, or we can just mark the text?
That is a really, really, really good question, Michelle. So I like to learn about the brain, and what I've learned is that it's better for you to write it. So highlighting with a highlighter is just really, it's not engaging your brain in the same way. Yeah. And maybe you love to have colors on your paper. I do too. But they also suggest that if like you can take notes or write notes when you're reading something, it engages your brain in a different way and it helps you to remember. Yeah, really good question. Yeah. But I'm not a brain scientist. This is just what I've read. It helps you make the connection. And that's the most important part. You want to make sure that what you're reading goes to a bigger part of your brain, and so that you can pull up that information, move it to the long-term memory, right? And by doing different techniques like writing it out, yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Aguinaldo, what did you share with us?
Sorry, guys, just a joke. It's a picture of a book being highlighted. I can show on my phone.
Yeah.
You know that. You know, that first I did the download, then I thought, oh my God, maybe some virus in his computer.
Sorry for missing this subject, guys. It's just
perfect.
I was so, oh my God, I didn't think.
It's just a joke.
But this person doesn't have different colors of highlighters, like it's green. Very important. Pink.
Yeah. You are exactly right, Solange. You're exactly right. Yeah. So I think you need to find what works best for you. But what I've read is the more you write hand to paper, pen to paper, it really helps trigger your brain to remember it in a certain way. Okay, but please use whatever method works best for you. And please do not highlight the whole reading. Right? Okay, so we're going to go back to just some of our key points. So one other thing is to analyze your notes. So we went over these 5 different points last week. And to analyze your notes is to really think about some connections you can make with them. You can think about further reading that you need to do. You might think about answering the questions that you might still have, or you might still have questions, so you might be writing them down. Okay, so we just talked about these in detail last week. And I can see from what happened in your breakout rooms, you were all really familiar with, and you either were looking at your notes or had a good memory about each of these different steps. Okay, so I'm just going to skip forward in my PowerPoint because I just, hang on one second. I just went over all of those again. Okay, so let's think about how do we take notes? And we talked a little bit about this last week, and then we looked at a specific method. Does anyone remember anything about, we were talking about the Cornell note-taking strategy. So what do you remember about this? Good job, right? Right? It's almost like a blessing. It looks like, right, the way you were doing it, Michelle. What do you remember about the Cornell note-taking strategy? Yeah, some of you are showing me in your notebook. Good job. Yeah, so it's one specific way of taking notes. Okay, it's a way that you can adapt if you feel like it works for you. Okay, there are 3 different columns. Do you remember? What do we have?
Cues, notes, and summary.
Good job. Thank you. Right. So you have the cues, the notes, and the summary. Okay. So what do we put in the notes section?
The highlight points of the text.
Yeah, good job. Right. So you're going
to answer for the cues.
Yeah, good job. Good job. Right. So let's think about time out. So when are we writing our notes section? When are we doing that? So this kind of has a little bit of an order. Do you remember?
When you are listening the class, we should put especially the information on the notes.
Right.
And you put lists, graphics, and most part of the information, and then you refine that on
the cues section. Good job.
On the cues section.
Good job. Yeah. Good job. Right. So think about your notes as your main section. Okay, we're going to look at a picture in a moment, but the main section, you're going to be writing your main ideas and any key points about the main ideas. Okay. you're going to be doing that while you're listening to a lecture or while you're reading a text, okay? So that's going to be your big chunk of your paper, right? And then as Andre mentioned, then you have the cues section, right? What happens in the cues section?
The link for another readings or some different information that is not on the reading, but and different questions just came out from the reading.
Good job. Good job. Thanks, Cecilia. Right. So think of cues like CUE as also Q, like the letter Q. It's going to trigger you to write questions, okay? Questions about the main ideas that maybe you don't understand yet, or questions to help you remember the main ideas, okay? Or questions about any of the vocabulary or key points that you need to understand, okay? And then the last section at the bottom is called the summary section. And what do we do in the summary section, and when do we do that?
After class.
Yeah, good job. After class, exactly, right?
Answer the question.
Yeah, good job. You can answer the questions. Good job. Exactly, right? Okay.
You can
go ahead.
So you can resume what you learned.
Yeah.
And also what you believe you should learn.
Yes, good job. Good job. Right. So you're going to have the notes section you're doing while you're listening or while you're reading, okay? The cues section maybe is happening at the same time, but the cues are going to happen right after. You're going to write the questions and you're going to check yourself, okay? You're going to think like, do I understand this information or not? And write a question here. And the summary at the very end of reading or the very end of listening to the lecture, you're going to go back and you're going to ask yourself, what did I just learn? How can I summarize this information so that I can use this information later, okay? Remember, you want your notes to be really useful. If you're looking later and you're trying to find something and you're like, what was that point about blah, blah, blah? You might look in your summary and be able to find it and know that that article or that reading or that chapter is going to help you with your research, okay? So let's just look again. You guys did a really good job of summarizing that. In the notes column, just to remind you, is the overall main idea. It encourages you to pull out important details, dates, definitions, formulas, whatever it is, okay? It sometimes uses abbreviations or shorthand. Shorthand just means you're cutting your language and taking quick notes. And it's done while you are listening to a lecture or while you're reading a text, okay? In the cues column, think of cues as questions, all right? You're writing down questions that you can use to help you remember key points, or you're writing down questions about the context that you don't yet understand, okay? Or you're writing down questions about any vocabulary words that you don't yet understand, or you're writing questions to help you remember those words, okay? And finally, the summary section. You can answer any of the questions that you learned from the lecture, okay? You're going to answer overall, what did I learn from reading this text? What did I learn from listening to this lecture, okay? It's a summary of your notes. It has the main ideas plus some main details, all right? And it's used after class to check your understanding. So in Cornell Notes, they always say, don't skip it. Don't forget it and think, oh, I know what this is about, okay? This is a really important point that ties back to how does your brain remember things? Your brain remembers it when you add more pathways to connect those dots in your brain, okay? So if you're writing a summary, that means you are actively thinking, what did I learn? How can I put this down on paper? How am I going to process this information so that I can understand it? Your summary is in your own words, and you're using that information so that later when you need to look at this research again, or you need to understand what happened in that chapter, this is going to help you remember that. All right. And it's remember, you want your notes to be useful. You want to complete this part so they're very useful for you. Okay. And just so we're looking at what it might look like. All right. This is a suggestion. This is very technical. They're telling you how many inches on your page. You don't have to be that technical. You can just draw some lines. Okay. But it's up to you to figure out what's the best way for you. And I just want to make some tips that I read more about the Cornell note-taking method. You can modify it for you. All right, these are just a suggested format. I would say try to incorporate the notes, the cues, and the summary, okay? But you can use some of them at the same time, all right? You can also decide what your format looks like. If you take a lot of notes, maybe one page is your notes and the back page are your questions and your summary, okay? It just depends on how you organize it, all right? And you might just set up a formula for yourself, all right? You can also use the summary section to review your notes for the day. So you might at the end of the day or after class, you sit down and write your summary and you're like, yeah, that's right. This is what I learned today. This is what I processed today, okay? And it's just a little way to quiz yourself, to test yourself, and make sure that you understood everything clearly from what you learned that day in the lecture or from a reading, okay? And finally, they suggest using the summary 10 or 15 minutes after class to take a look at your notes and fill in any missing information and clarify anything that you don't understand, okay? So this is a suggestion actually from Cornell University about Cornell Notes, okay? So if you had the time when you finished a class, if you had the time when you finished doing a reading, that you were able to sit down and write your summary, it's a really good way in your brain to connect all of those ideas, okay? All right, so let's go back to our story. What was our story about last week? Do you remember? We were talking about something very specific.
The brain.
Yeah, good job, good job. Right, we were talking about the brain, right? Okay, so last week we did a little bit of skimming and scanning, and then we started to look at how we might organize our Cornell notes, okay? So what I thought we could do is actually try it out with the same reading, but having you with a partner work and try to organize your notes section and organize any questions that you have. And then we're going to try to work together and write a summary. Okay. So if you look on your handout that you were just working on with your partner, okay, you did these questions. If you go to the second section, all right, this is the same link that we did last week, all right, it's a little bit familiar to you. So what you're going to do is just practice taking notes, which means you're going to try to pull out the main ideas. If you want to type on the computer, great, remember, but you don't have to. You're welcome to type in your notebook and just not type in your notebook, write in your notebook and just organize your notes that way, okay? So I did it before class and my notes are really, really messy, but that's something that it might look like, okay? It's up to you how you want to organize it. You should try to have a notes section, a cues section, and we're going to work on writing a summary when you finish, okay? So is everybody okay? So can you go back to this link, which you did last week, all right? This is a simplified reading. We're going to start with something that's a little bit easy for us, okay? And you're going to try to write down the main points in the notes section. And then any questions or any vocabulary that you don't understand in the cues section. Okay. And then you're going to think about how would you summarize this article? How would you summarize the information that they give you here? Okay. Is everybody okay? Yeah. So just try it out. Remember, this is just a suggestion of a way to take notes. It's kind of, I think it's kind of tied to the way that writing texts in English are organized. So it might give you the feeling like, yeah, it's very easy to follow, okay? But you're just trying it out to see if it's a way that you can take notes maybe more effectively and making your notes, trying to make your notes more useful to you, okay? So we're gonna try it out. We're also gonna try it later with listening as well, but we're gonna try it out with writing or with reading tonight, okay? So what you're gonna do is go back with your partner and try to do that second side of your paper, okay? If you, like I said, if you wanna type right on the document, you can. If you don't wanna do that, you wanna take notes in your notebook, you can do that. If you want to have time to do it individually and then check your notes, you can also do that. Please talk to your partner and decide what's the best way for you. Okay? Is everybody okay? You right? Yeah? Okay. So here we go. I'm going to come in and check on you. Do you have a question?
Sorry, teacher. Yeah, sorry. How many time we have so we can?
That's a good question. I was going to give you about 15 minutes. Do you think that's enough time? You try? Yeah? Okay. We can take more time, but let's just see how you do in 15 minutes. Okay? Yeah, good question. Okay. So just take your time, just go through, pull out the main ideas, write it in your notes section, and then you can check it together with your partner. Okay? Good luck. I'll see you soon.
Try it alone and then we get together. Is it okay for you? Can we try like 10 minutes reading and making notes and then we get 5 discussing? Okay, great. I'm gonna put 10 minutes. See you.
MB, we must take notes of this entire article, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just because I missed it last class, so I wasn't sure if you already did some part of it.
No, we looked at it to skim it and we looked at it to scan it. And right at the end, the students had a little bit of time to start their notes, but I don't think anybody was able to take notes. Okay. So you're just gonna try to go through and organize your notes. Okay.
Okay.
Take your time. Take your time. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good.
Together. Because as we do together, we have the chance to discuss, and then we will be able to understand better and see which one of us think the way we think about it. And because afterwards we can do our house on our own. So now it's best for we to share. What do you think, Solange?
I agree.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So who is going to read?
I can read.
Okay.
I forgot how. Let me see. So, okay.
You guys okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're reading again.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Take your time. Okay.
I'm trying to explain. Okay.
What is
Yeah,
worm
what is
like?
a worm?
What is a worm?
Yeah. An amoeba is a kind of worm, isn't it? MB.
Amoeba? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did it right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad in this note-taking thing. Do you think we must read it entirely to take the notes, or we took the notes while we are reading it? What do you think the best way to do it?
I think you can take the notes while you're reading it. Yeah. That's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I just, it's a good question because I'm not sure how all of you are thinking about pulling out the main ideas. So that's another question, right? But what I did, this is just the way that I did it, but I just read each sentence and then I would take a note if I felt like it was an important point related to the human brain. And after I read everything, I divided it into 2 sections, and I can tell you more about that, but just see what you think now. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Inara, sorry, were you gonna say something to me?
I was gonna ask you because I was having trouble to fill the Q question. The Q question on the Q session. And now reading again, I'm like putting, okay, I had a hard time to memorize something, so study more about the brain parts so you can make a connection with your life. And this I couldn't do right now at the Q session. So I will never remember what part is it. It's very hard for me.
Okay. So you can use the Q section in 2 different ways. You can use it to look at your main ideas and ask yourself questions about the main ideas is one way. Okay. Or you can also use it to look at and think, I didn't understand that part. So like, what did it say about this? Or why are they talking about this worm as a brain, or, whatever. So you can use it. You can use it in a couple of different ways. And just by practicing, you'll figure out, how or what is the best way for you. Okay.
But I think for academic scenario is the best one.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah. 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 So just play around with this, and then I'm gonna let you have time right until the end. Okay. So just see what you can do. Okay. Yeah. Take your time.
Cecilia?
In hearing, speech, and long-term memories, while the back lobe process images from our eyes.
Perfect.
So in this paragraph, the key word is mystery at the first line. And words related to, for example, questions like, why do we dream?
The control as well, right? The lobes.
Yeah.
Lobes.
Some part of the the function,
Mhm.
but I don't know if it's so important.
I think the creature became a fish with eyes, ears, and nose that could send the brain information about sights, sounds, and smells. When it started to
Pam, and I writing about adult women have 125 trillion connection between neurons. And after I take the notes about
the meaning of the sentence specific, I need to search.
I think my notes are very extensive, teacher. But I took two information from each paragraph.
I like it.
But I can resume more later.
Yeah. And so, and then your questions section, you wanted to find more information, it looks like.
Search videos about this issue.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, so you can use the Q section to ask yourself, what information do I want to know more about? Or how can I find more information? You can also ask yourself questions about the main ideas that you wrote in the notes section. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Elisangela, how do you feel? Okay.
Okay, but I put words that I don't understand.
Okay.
Like pathways, and I feel like after I will search.
Yeah, sure. So you could also put you could also ask yourself a question in the Q section. You could say, what is a pathway? What is blah, blah, blah. You can ask yourself questions there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I put two sentences, not 10 sentences.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You're just practicing right now. Yeah. So we're all trying to figure out what's the best way to take notes.
It's the first time that we both do this.
Yeah.
Skimming.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Cornell.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have maybe a couple more minutes. So if there's any other notes you want to add, you can do that. Okay. Or if you want to ask any questions in the Q section, you can do that. Okay. And then we're going to come back and next week, we'll go back to this and just see how you did. And then we'll try to write a summary next week.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, good job. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. How'd you do?
I thought I was doing very well, but when we start answering those questions on the side, I just lost a lot of information that I didn't remember. So, oh my God, where is this? And I got confused for things that I knew.
Oh my gosh, don't worry. It's your first time to use this practice, right? So today we're going to have you running back to TOEFL and throwing the notebook out the window, right? Don't worry. how did you guys do? How was it?
Interesting. I think summarizing it takes more time to do it. Like highlighting or finding what is the key points from an article or a class is easier, but summarizing I think takes time to process the information. And
yeah. Anybody else want to say? How did you feel about Cornell note taking? Yeah? Yeah? You loved it? All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Love is not the word, but I like
it. Okay. Okay. Well, if it's your first time using it, okay, it may seem a little bit awkward or different, or you have to get used to it. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So hopefully it gave you the chance to look at some notes and pull out some main ideas, and then to ask yourself questions about the text, or to ask questions about things that you don't understand yet, or any vocabulary that you don't understand yet. Okay. And then we're going to move to the summary section next week. So if you didn't finish that, that's okay. All right. So if you have time before next week, feel free to just look at the article again, maybe, and just check and make sure you feel like you pulled out all of the main ideas. If you don't have time, don't worry. We'll start with this at the beginning of class next week. And then we're going to move into how to write a summary. And after that, we're going to look at another article to practice using the Cornell Notes, but not for the whole thing. We're going to break it down a little bit. Okay. So thank you so much for showing up tonight. It was good to see you again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you next Wednesday. Okay. Take good care. Good night.
Bye, Andy.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for the class.
Bye-bye. Good night. Bye-bye. Good night. See you. Good night.